So, hi everyone, welcome to the Finance Story Live. I know it's been like almost 2 months that we've not hosted a live, but going forward, we'll be regular every Wednesday and Thursday, hopefully. Okay, so the Finance Story Live, as you know, it's to bring you trends, insights, to keep you updated with what's happening, and a lot of things are happening. So, we'll keep at it. This entire series is powered by Startup Movers and Payzy. So I'll just tell you a little bit about Startup Movers. I know Sambhav and Sridhar for quite some time right now. They've built Startup Movers into something amazing, supporting almost 3,000 plus founders in company incorporation, compliance, and financial restructuring. And we have with us also Payzy, who is founded by Pratik. Pratik and Payzy together with their team, they help finance leaders, CA firms to understand where every rupee is spent in real time. So excited to partner with these guys. And yes, today we have with us Mehul, who's recently become a partner at Pricewaterhouse, and he's all of 32 years. So he joins us to share, of course, his journey of becoming a partner in record time and what it exactly takes to get here and what next for him. And of course, the big question, how will AI impact his role, his service line, and of course, the growth of future partners and future Big Four consultants. So Mehul, thanks a ton for the time. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you, Chantal, for inviting, and happy to be your first guest when you restart this journey. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and thank you everyone who's joining in. Uh, okay, I just type in here. Cool. Mehul, my first question for you is the obvious, right? Can you tell us a little bit about what exactly does your team do? What service line are you into, and how did you exactly choose the service line? How did you discover it?
Okay, the discovery is a bit interesting, so I'll come to that. In terms of my specialization, Chantal, it is international tax. To keep it simple, international tax is all about cross-border transactions, companies into cross-border businesses, Indian companies operating outside or having customers outside. Whenever they transact, they need to look at taxes and tax implications, not just of one country, but multiple countries. So
Yep.
that is in simple international tax, which is my specialization and my domain. Uh, if you zoom in a little, it also imbibes into it transfer pricing, which is valuation in a sense for transactions between related parties, which is a periphery of international tax.
Yep.
So I honestly stumbled upon international tax. This was 14, 15 years ago when I started my journey, and I was looking for a place to start my articleship.
Yep.
Interestingly, the situation at that point in time demanded me to hunt for a job which paid well, and CA internship. As any internship would go, you had limited scope in terms of what you could do and the opportunities that were available.
Yep.
So me and one of my friend, we were actually going around at the fort area in Bombay. Whoever is from Bombay would know. A lot of CA firm offices are there to drop in our CVs. Okay, and BMR Advisors. It is a boutique consulting firm. It was very popular at its time.
Yep.
Uh, I dropped in a CV there, and I got a call later, and I had no idea what international tax was. Before that, I was also working with some other CA firm before even I started my articleship, which got
Yep.
me a call,
Yep.
and that's how I got into international tax. It was purely coincidental, and that is the only part which is coincidental in my entire journey.
Amazing. So I love the last line. That's the only part which is coincidental, right? Okay, so first of all, congratulations, right? You're just announced as
Thank
a
you.
partner. Amazing. Okay, so my question to you is, 2015, I was just going through your LinkedIn and I saw your recent post, right? It says in 2015, I saw a dream, and in 2025, it's real. So you joined Pricewaterhouse in 2015 as an assistant manager. So can you rewind back a little bit and tell us what was your dream when you started at Pricewaterhouse? What were you looking at? Did you already foresee that I want to be a partner in the next 10 years, or you said, hey, someday I'll be a partner? What was the goal?
Let's take a step back a little before that. I was at BMR Advisors, and there it was an aggressive firm. We used to I've seen partners grow in 10 12 years there. So that was an aspiration that I harbored back at BMR, and then I joined PwC Pricewaterhouse later, and I continued the aspiration. In 2014, when I qualified, and 2015, when I moved to Price, the question that I had was, will I be able to do the same things? Because we all know that, right? We think about big four firms, and we see that there are specific areas that you'll be able to work rather than a broader, larger role and broader work experience. So the question that I had was, will I be able to do everything that I could possibly do here, and will my growth be similar to what I aspire or harbored to be a international tax partner 10 12 years down the line? And that time I was moving with my partner back then I used to work with, and I took that leap of faith, and that aspiration has turned into reality. Of course, a lot of work over the past 10 years in the firm to make it happen, and support that the firm provided. So that's really what I was thinking back in 2015 when I joined PwC. It was clear I wanted to be a partner at Pricewaterhouse, and that was the aspiration with the clear goal.
Cool. So, Mehul, did you ever think what will happen if it doesn't happen in your timeline? So, it's not easy. Like Pricewaterhouse, these big fours are super competitive. Everyone is sharp, is smart, right? They work long hours, they work dedicatedly. So, how did you look at it? What if was there a what if, or
So I would like to start by talking about something that my boss told me somewhere in the middle of the journey when I was looking for a promotion, and I was disappointed when I didn't get one that I was looking for. And this was somewhere in the middle of journey, 2017. He told me, Mehul, 1 year more would really not matter, but 1 year less will. So timelines, I think, not that rigid. The question is in terms of, are you appreciated and recognized for your talent and what you're contributing to the firm on an overall basis, right? The firm I come from, that is what I saw, and that is what I got in terms of recognition for what I was contributing, and opportunities not just came when I asked for it, I was given those opportunities. So I think uh, rather than timelines, what I was focused on is to have a structured path towards it, and we can talk about it a little later in the conversation
yep,
in terms of what I think worked well for me. But
yep.
that is how I saw my journey, and that is how I was looking at focused growth at the same firm that I was, and with the same person that I started my career in international tax with.
Okay, okay. So, let's click and talk about, your journey. Let's understand, from what I see, 2015, you started as an EM, then you were in the assistant manager role for quite some time, I think till 2020, right? And then it kind of, the trajectory moved faster. So just double click on all of this that you would like to share, and also promotions lost, promotions gained. What did you
Yeah.
exactly do right that helped you?
So Chantel, the what I believe is, once the foundation, and you also said it, I was quite a lot of time at AM or a manager level. When the foundation is built, okay, and the pillars are made, it's easier to build on it. It's very fast to build on it, and that's, I think that's how my journey also is. So if I break it down into multiple layers, there is a discovery phase, there is a exploration phase, and then there is a extraction phase, and that is broadly in terms of what my career would look like. Early on, I discovered that I wanted to be in consulting. Okay, I wanted to do consulting. International tax just happens to be where my forte is, and where I've grown over a period of time. What other important aspect I feel when we are charting out a career is to identify an anchor who would stand by you, with whom you have a fully faith and trust in, and who reciprocates, and an
Yeah.
organization that believes in your talent, believes in your contribution. I think that was my discovery phase where I've discovered that I was at the right place. I was with the right person and I was in the stream that I'm good at. Okay. So that helped me create a base for it. Then what I did was I was exploring the edges of international taxation. So I said yes to a lot of hard stuff. For example, in being in a big four, I did transfer pricing, I did GST transition compliances. I worked as a project manager in one of the assignments, and took a lot of holistic experience that the firm had to offer in a global environment that helped me understand global businesses, understand how market operates, and that really laid the bedstone for me to then go to my next phase where I was looking for growth, right? And that comes the extraction phase where I was able to build on all these experiences, learnings, and offer rather a more comprehensive solution and a more comprehensive output wherever was required. This phase, Chantel, is very critical, where I think two most important thing happens. The first one is you build a team. Okay, most important thing, because without a team you are nothing, right? It's often said, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go with a team or a group of
Yep.
people. So that's very critical. I was little lagged on that aspect, but I think I've covered that up. I have an awesome team. I really can rely on. And the second most important aspect in this third phase, Chantel, is clients, in terms of their trust in you, their trust in your quality, and being able to stay with them for a longer duration of time. I think these are the two critical pillars of growth in your last phase of the journey, where the firm then builds that trust in you that you be their partner, literally.
Yep. Okay, cool. So, would you want to also talk about, what were the hiccups in your journey? Like exactly, what are the challenges that you had to go through? And like for instance, it's there are also a lot of other good people in the team, right? So, how do you again differentiate yourself to get noticed? Yes, you have a good boss who's leading you, you have a good organization who recognizes talent, right? But there's going to be a lot more as well. So would you want to double click on that too?
Of course. So one thing that I really like, there is a quote: the harder I work, the luckier I get. So I think one simple philosophy is hard work, which makes you stand out. Okay, you have to say yes to the hard stuff, right? In an organization so large, there will always be a competition for visibility, and I think that's the key. And
Yep.
you gain visibility by doing things out of your comfort zone. So imagine people only thinking of one aspect and just going down that path. It's great, okay, and it's really good. But when you tend to do things outside your comfort zone, for example, I chose to do GST as well while being in international tax. I chose to do transfer pricing. I'll tell you very interesting anecdote, Chantal. There was PwC had, back when I was in PwC, it had a Invoke Ambassador program. It was a first of a kind started within the firm, where they were inducting about 64 people to learn more about technology. This is before the COVID wave of 2020 and stuff like that, when technology in consulting was a pretty nascent stage. And they were going to train in automation, data analysis, data management and data mining and stuff. I also applied. Okay, in an organization of 20,000 people, they were choosing 64. I did not get selected. Okay. So I was again very disappointed. That was one of the hiccup that I saw, because I saw technology as the most important thing to grow going forward. I asked them why not me? Just by asking that simple question, why, they said that we are looking for someone who's interested. So they made 64, 65, and I was a part of the batch. So I think all of these small, interesting options, or the opportunities that you get to work,
Yeah.
I think you have to grab it, and you have to demonstrate that you are not doing the run of the mill job. You are doing something different. You are here to upskill yourself, reinvent yourself on a continuous basis. And that's what consulting is all about, right? And once you demonstrate those skills, those are the most relevant ones to grow in an organization.
Amazing. That's a very that's a great point, right? And do you have a lot of mentors guiding you through this, or you're wise enough to understand? Hey, I have to ask why. Like, do you have mentors guiding you through this journey?
I mean, I don't think we would grow by leaps and bounds without having mentors to support us. And I do have great mentors. I already spoke about my anchor, who has been with me for the past 14 years. I joined him as an international tax intern, and he was the one who sponsored me today. So that's the most critical and important thing. Having a mentor who understands
Yeah.
your career, who understands your aspirations, is very critical. And of course, there were a few others who I have worked with over a period of time, who have helped me navigate through all of this.
Okay. Mehul, would you also want to share a little bit about international taxation in terms of what are the typical skills that's needed, and what are beyond the technical skills, right? What are the other skills that you have developed on this journey?
So, as I was saying, Chantal, international tax is about dealing with cross-border transactions, and therefore you often have to deal with people across the borders, and therefore being able to understand different cultures, being able to understand and communicate, in with people from different countries, becomes a very critical skill set to grow in this area and to be recognized in this domain. Another thing that I wanted to share was back when we started, and when I started international tax, it was more narrow rather as compared to today,
Yeah.
relatively, because we used to look at tax implications for a particular jurisdiction or a particular country, versus international taxation today is very, very broad based. You are looking at, you would have heard about fair tax and tax transparency being talked about at global forums. And therefore, what you're looking at is a business global footprint, okay, and then trying to understand in terms of what their tax implications would be, rather than just focusing on narrowing down to one country. So I think that's over a period of time changed. uh, I think having a global acumen or a global mindset, uh, having understanding of different cultures and different countries in terms of how people operate, I these are additional add-on skill set other than the technical skills that you would need to excel in international tax.
Okay, cool. So when we're talking about international tax as a service line, right? So do you think because you chose because coincidentally it happened that you got into this service line, do you think this service line also gave you that opportunity? If you compare this to somebody who's in audit or forensic, do you think choosing the right service lines also can propel growth faster? I don't know if I'm audible. Am I
Is it
audible?
of service line giving you? Yes, you are. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. There's a little bit of a lag, but it's cool.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, guys, I think there's a little bit of a net lag. I'll just
Is it still Chantal?
Yeah, it's better now. I think because you're in office, so they kind of jam the network, so it kind of happens. Yeah. It usually.
Chantal, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Mehul, I can't hear you. I think we've. Okay, now it's good. Now it's good. Mehul, are you on your data or are you on Wi Fi? I think Wi Fi would be better.
Chantal, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's breaking.
Chantal, are we live or it's disconnected?
Yeah, it's getting disconnected. Do you want to just check on WhatsApp? I'll just connect with you on WhatsApp right now. Okay, now it's better actually. Now it's good. Okay, now it's good, Mehul.
Okay, okay, great.
It's better.
So, I was saying in regarding your question in terms of different service line offering different growth opportunities. I think
Yeah.
all service lines have to offer growth opportunities. One, if your skill set and if your innate capabilities or your innate liking towards that is something that matches, right? And of course, international tax has a lot to offer, and similarly, other service lines as well. What worked well for me, okay, is that I think early on I was able to understand in terms of what it takes to excel in this particular service line, and I was able to take on those opportunities and those skill set early on to be able to excel in it. So I think all service lines are gives you all the opportunities. It's about you in terms of how you match with it.
Okay, cool. So, Mehul, how does this journey exactly start? You know, the pathway to partner. Like, when does it begin? When does it? When do you? When does a discussion start? And how many years does it exactly take till you become one? What is it exactly like?
So, Chantal, the journey I think starts way in advance. I think you have to be ready before you are being considered for it, right? And therefore I think there is no, it's very fuzzy in terms of to say that that's when I started thinking of journey towards partnership. But starting to lead client conversations, starting to lead assignments and projects a few years before you even start thinking about putting yourself out there to be considered. Specifically within this kind of a business, the journey for partnership starts about a year before it actually happens, where you are start the conversation starts in terms of we feel you are ready. Are you ready to take up those responsibilities? And then there's almost a year's process to go through in terms of reviews, your review of your files, your background, your there are conversations with your client, your team, all of that. It's a rigorous process for a year which goes on, but I think the journey starts way before that.
Okay. And once you become a partner, what next now? I mean, what are the responsibilities? What has changed in the last 1 month? Or you're just a fresh partner, so there a lot of changes are yet to happen. But what do you see?
The most critical one is you can get a cabin now to operate from. No, so there are so one thing that I really believe in, Chantel, is that if your day-to-day work really changes the moment you become a partner, you're not ready for it. Because in my view, you have to for the past 1.5, 2 years be doing the same thing as a partner would, and therefore you are ready for it to grab it. Apart from that, in terms of your front ending client work and stuff, what really changes is a lot of responsibility and onus in the overall system that gets put onto you, as compared to one which was earlier channeled to the partner that you were working with.
Yeah.
uh, Otherwise, I don't think a large part of your day-to-day routine changes. You get, of course, invited to a different table now to sit on, and different kind of discussions do take place. But in terms of your day-to-day work, I don't think it does change or it should change immediately as soon as you become a partner.
Okay. And when did you first start working with, with your own team? Like, when did that happen? And what is your team size? And how did you groom yourself to become, to lead a team? And, there are so many things today you have to be aware of, right? Being a leader. So, what has been your journey?
It's as you rightly mentioned, it's a journey. It probably starts when you start delegating work to people or start working with people at a very early stage. I would say that this journey goes back 5 6 years when you start building a team, right? As I was talking about earlier, during the extraction phase, building a team is the most critical one.
Yep.
I have a team of about 8 to 10 people. Awesome folks, chartered accountants. Some are freshly qualified. Some are in the middle of their journey in this domain. Different people have come from different domains. I have someone in my team who has earlier worked in finance background in another country. She's come back to India and now working with us in international tax. So people from different journey trying to explore in terms of what their calling is or what their skill set match is to grow and succeed. I think learning to work with people and being able to manage and understand people is what is critical in building a team.
Okay, cool. Am I audible?
Yes.
I also wanted to ask you, I'm sure you get a lot of job offers because people in this industry would know, hey, Mehul is a good guy and he's good at what he does. So why Big Four? Why consulting? You explained to us you always wanted to be in consulting, but of course there's a lot of other amazing boutique firms uh, which are also on the rise. So how do you look at this, and how do you look at the boutique firms which are also competing with, say, a Price Waterhouse? How is the market right now?
So I think there are two parts of your question. The first one being why consulting. So I think consulting is one of the best areas to be in to closely watch in terms of what's happening in the economy,
Yeah.
what's happening in the business world,
Yeah.
because I feel consulting is where it all starts. People, when we are starting to think in terms of which market to enter, or which area to focus on, or which business line to commit your resources to. Consulting kicks in there, in very at the very core of it. So I think therefore consulting is something that is relevant, and in the age of AI and digital transformation, technology revolution, even more relevant. I can talk about it a little more later, but therefore I think consulting is the domain that I chose and continue to be in. The question on the various offers and other organizations, until to be honest, I have turned down at multiple times 2x whatever my current pay back then was, offers which were as high as that, for solely one reason. I think clarity. I wanted to be in consulting. I had found my anchor. I had found an organization where I could see becoming a partner,
Yep.
as compared to somewhere where I'm going for the X amount of money or designation, with no clarity within the organization or within or with me rather. And therefore once you have that clarity in your mind, everything else is noise, and you just stuck to it. I just stuck to it over the past 14 years, and it has paid off. And as I said, opportunities are there everywhere, right? Boutique consulting firms are doing great. They have found their niche. They are able to deliver on the quality,
Yeah,
and the market is huge. India, as you know, Chantal, is at,
yeah,
some have called this as India's century. So
yep,
the opportunities that are there in the market, the space which is there in the market is huge for everyone to contribute. And I think
yep,
the larger the pool, I think the market grows from there. So
yep,
uh, and there are great service offerings that boutique firms do offer, and big fours are also able to have that share in the market. So it's I think, given where India's growth journey is, we have a lot
yep.
more space in the market for everyone to grow.
Amazing. I have to ask you this question because there's so much written about it, and I mean, we write a lot about it, right? We speak to a lot of ex Big Four partners who've quit, and so there's a whole market shift also with regard to clients. So, without taking any names, right? So, do you see clients now deciding between, hey, a Big Four and between a boutique firm, and there's this entire thing of boutique firms eating into the Big Four's business? Do you really see that happening at ground level? How is it?
I think, honestly speaking, there is, as I said, space for everyone, and everybody is trying to create a niche for themselves in different pockets. And clients are built on relationship, especially in consulting, and which is very difficult to break into, right? These are, we are talking about years and years of relationship built over a period of time. So it's I don't see it as one eating into another. As I said earlier, the more there is, the bigger the market becomes, and there is more to do. So I think that's where I'll leave it in terms of the journey that boutique firms are having in the country.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about India. You said okay, India is it's we all know India is everyone's talking about India. It's the fastest growing and stuff like that. Okay, so when you're talking about tax advisory in particular, did you ever think of, hey, taking an internal move maybe to PwC, let's say UAE? You know, did it ever strike that, hey, why not explore another market, another country?
Honestly, I did. In 2017, 18, I was looking at opportunities outside India to see if, and it was more to do with gaining experience of living and working in another country, then to choose between what is a better growth trajectory for
Yeah.
myself. But at that point in time, it didn't work out. I had offers, but my family was not ready for me to move out. So I gave into that pressure. But I'm very glad that it did, because I feel the kind of growth and the kind of opportunities that we have here in India. Uh, at this point in time, I don't think you will get anywhere around the world, especially in consulting, because, as I said, when there is fast paced growth, when there is exponential opportunities that comes into the market, if you are in consulting, you are at the core of it. Okay, you're looking at from the very base or very nascent stage, and that's where all the opportunities are. So therefore, consulting in India is the best place to be. I'm not saying you have to be in India for doing that, but if India is your focus, even sitting outside India, I think advisory, consulting, and for that matter, tax is good opportunity, and the next phase of growth comes from here, according to me, for people who are looking at options in their careers.
Okay, I have two more questions, right? Of course, AI. How can we miss AI? So, what is going to be the impact of AI in tax and in your profile specifically? Have you considered that, hey, tomorrow an AI could do half of the things I'm doing? Is it even possible? Is Have you seen use cases? What are the use cases do you see?
Shantal, there are a lot of use cases. Okay, we have to be honest to ourselves in terms of AI is going to be relevant. The disruption of technology is going to make a lot of difference. The way I see consulting as a business line, and I think it cuts across the lines of services, whether you look at tax or strategic consulting. What is going to change is AI reduces the time that it takes to get to an answer as compared to what it used to be before, and that's what use cases generally are about, right? How to cut down time in doing research. You would have heard about legal tools which are offering research skills using AI. There are Gen AI tools which are available to assist you with drafting and stuff. So a large part of the work that a consultant does, there is support and there are use cases available for AI. So AI is going to change and is already changing the way we operate today. We
Yeah.
use a lot of AI tools on a day-to-day basis to improve our productivity. But what I see is going to happen is that because there is a reduction in time, okay, fractional expertise would become even more relevant. Okay, and fractional expertise, as you know, you cannot have in-house, and therefore probably the reliance on consultants will increase even more, and that's how I see AI impacting the business of consulting. The relevance will only grow from here. The question is how you keep upskilling yourself and how you
Yeah.
keep reinventing yourself and imbibe all of this technology into your domain is what is going to make change. So if I were to talk about three things in terms of how the future of consulting according to me will look like, is that there'll be probably a managed services where you are doing as in fraction of cost and time delivering compliance services to a client.
Yeah.
Then there will be super specialization which AI cannot do. Okay. You When I say cannot do in terms of, you will have a work product from AI which you need to build on. So that is the super specialization, second. And third is super generalization. You are talking about a lot of things, and if you want to put all of this together, because using the right technology and putting it all together is also going to be relevant. So managed services, super specialization, and super generalization, I think that is how consulting according to me will look like in the future.
Okay. I just want to ask you another question to this. In your day-to-day routine, and you've been doing this since 2014, right? So let's say 2015. What aspects in your work journey has now been replaced by AI? If you just have to tell us, what are the things you used to do and now you don't have to do?
So one thing, and not just because of AI, but because of digitization and stuff, that has significantly changed is we used to carry and go around with these fat books to do research. And there will be 10 books, there will be a rack of huge book longer than your own self. When you are trying to study a particular aspect or a subject, an international tax, and trying to come up with solutions or reasoning behind positions. What has changed is that you rely on a lot of online tools and online material now, and AI also comes handy. We have research tools available, which helps us relatively reduce some amount of time that is being spent on research. So I think research is one of the key areas where AI is doing a good job.
Okay. And do you think now clients are also a lot more knowledgeable and have, they would also foresee, okay, what is a consultant going to tell me because of all these tools, right? Like, for instance, today when you go to a doctor, right, we know exactly what the doctor is going to tell us unless he or she pinpoint something, okay, this is the real problem. So do you see there's a shift in clients as well saying, hey, you know what, I've also read this, and because you can read things quick now. How is it shifted?
Not at that large scale so far, but it definitely will. And I think before that situation arises, we have to be ready with the change or the revised delivery model, or a changed or the revised you know the way we work with our clients. I think that is the only way to catch up with the AI and consulting. Clients do ask us this question, and you have covered it in your past articles also, in terms of how are you using AI, because it's the buzzword everywhere, right? And there
Yeah.
are use cases which are there in all domains. And as I mentioned, I think research is where it is doing the best amount of contribution. And to some extent in generative AI also we are working on, in terms of how to use it for reducing the time spent on creating drafting documents and stuff.
Okay. So what is your AI strategy for your career? Like, how are you looking at it, and how are you taking it seriously and saying, hey, you know what, Mehul, I have to do this, and tell us a little bit if you have a strategy in mind.
The strategy is to stay relevant in all of the three, or one of the three buckets that I mentioned: managed services, super specialization, or super generalization. I think we all have to fit into one of those buckets, and I'm trying to figure out in terms of where I would lie. And the second thing is to do more with less. I think that is what AI and Gen AI enables. And we are trying to, on a daily basis, figure out in terms of how to be even more agile, how to be even more faster in our delivery using all of these newer technologies.
Cool. So, Mehul, what next for you now? Okay, you're a partner. I mean, would you want to take us to the different kinds of partners, and how are you looking at that? If you have a little bit of a picture ahead of what are you thinking, and if you would like to share.
Too soon. I was just settling into this new role. But there are as you grow as a partner in a big organization, there are verticals, there are groups to be managed, there are types of work to be managed, and there are leadership positions. So over a period of time, that is what you aspire to be, and that is where you aspire to reach. So one milestone check, now the next one to focus on.
Amazing. And how do you handle office politics? Is it normal to have office politics, or if you have a good team, a good boss, it's life is sorted, or there's always
uh,
politics?
I have never been a victim of politics, so I'm not the right person to answer this question. Not really experienced it that much, at least in the organization that I've come from. It's based, but when you demonstrate, how relevant you are to
Yeah,
an organization.
yeah,
It Politics is on the periphery. I think it's all noise for
yeah.
me when you look at on an overall journey.
Yeah, cool. Done. So I think I've asked you all my questions. Okay, this is my last question for you, which is the closing. What would you tell others who want to be a partner, say at 30, 28, 29? They say now with AI doing majority of the heavy lifting in terms of research, as you rightly pointed out, the pathway will be quicker, right? So what would you tell folks 2, 3 years or 4 years your junior? What should they aim? What should they look for? And how should they groom themselves? I know you covered this earlier, but your closing message.
Sure. I think one thing is clarity, which is the most important thing in terms of what do you want to do, and where do you see yourself. For example, 10 years ago, the question that I had in my mind: a partner in consulting or a CFO or a CEO of a company. Right. This is how I was comparing the two, and I chose the journey of partner in consulting. So I think once you have that clarity in terms of where you want to be in your career, it gives you a lot of clarity to then choose in terms of how do you want to go about it. The second most critical path in terms of to look at is having an anchor and an organization. Don't choose a job, or don't choose something with a greater pay. Choose an anchor, choose a organization you believe who would invest into you, and who would help you grow. And the most important thing today would be to keep upskilling. I think the world is changing faster than it was yesterday. So if you don't upskill yourself, if you don't learn the new tools which are coming in the market, you'll not be able to sustain, or in at least consulting for now. So I think these three broad key messages in terms of career for everyone who aspires to be a partner at a big firm.
Cool, done. Thank you so much, Mehul. Thanks a ton for your time. I mean, I can ask you a lot more questions, but thank you for giving us a close up to your journey and your journey so far, and also about AI and what are the shifts that one can expect. So, thank you so much for the time. Thanks a ton.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be
Thank
here.
you.
Look forward to our
Thank
next
you.
conversation. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Mehul. Thank you, everyone who's joined in.